Hello students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the F6 online support program. I am lecturer Wasim and I'll teach you class 8. So we are in unit 3 which is dynamics, and in this video we will try to cover example 3.5 which is based on the previous video, the previous lecture which were the derivation of the acceleration and time, derivation for the acceleration and time, tension in the string attached to the pulley which is frictionless, and one body is moving horizontally and the other body will move vertically. We will discuss it, don't worry. Second, force and momentum. We will discuss force and momentum, the relation between force and momentum, and we will also try to solve example 3.6 based on this force and momentum relation, which is a mathematical form. We will discuss it. So learning outcome of this video lecture will be to calculate the tension and acceleration in the string during motion of bodies connected by the string passing over a frictionless pulley using second law of motion, the same as that were previous. Objective is the same, but the condition is somewhat different. Over there in the previous lecture, the condition were like to both bodies will moving vertically downward, but over here we will calculate the tension and acceleration, but one body will be moving horizontally and the other body will move vertically. Right? Understand the relation between force and momentum. We will also discuss it in detail. So a little review of previous since we are still using Newton's laws. So you should remember, you should remind what is Newton second law of motion, what is the difference between mass and weight, and what is the formula for bodies moving vertically, for bodies attached to a string but passing over a frictionless pulley. Remember, moving vertically downward and the other will move horizontally. This is the condition, because if you eliminate these conditions, it will be the same as the previous lecture. And second, this is the what is the formula for acceleration and what is the formula for tension, right? So you should remember these formulas to move forward to this lecture, to move on in this lecture and to calculate the tension and acceleration. So moving forward, example 3.5, let's go through the statement is like two masses, there are two masses, 4 kg and 6 kg attached to the end of the inextensible string which passes over a frictionless pulley such that 6 kg mass is moving over a frictionless horizontal surface. Frictionless, again there is a term. In all these conditions we are eliminating the friction. We are assuming that there is no friction between this surface and the block, and similarly there is no friction in the pulley. Right now they say that 6 kg mass is moving on horizontal surface, so it means the mass m2 is a 6 kg and this is a 4 kg, right? This is m1 is 4 kg, right? And 4 kg mass is moving vertically downward, and we need to calculate the acceleration and tension, right? So m1 is 4 kg and m2 is 6 kg, and we know that we have already derived the formula to find the acceleration. We need to find the acceleration and tension. So we have the formula for acceleration. Acceleration is equal to m1 divided by m1 plus m2 multiplied by acceleration. So just putting the values, m1 over here is 4, m2 is 6, and g is a 10, right? Meter per square second. So just putting the values and we will get the acceleration which is equal to 4 meter per square second. Similarly, another requirement is to find the tension. So we have the formula for tension in the string, which is m1 plus m1 m2 divided by m1 plus m2 multiplied by acceleration due to gravity, which is g. Right, just putting the values. M1, we have the value of M1, M2, M1 and M2, and G is taken to be 10. Using calculator, you can calculate that the tension in the string is 24 Newton. Right. So moving forward to the second objective of this lecture, which is to make a relation and derive the equation which relate the force and momentum. Right. So for this we consider a body having mass m1 and moving with initial velocity vi. Remember, at the initial condition the body is moving with uniform velocity, and this velocity is vi. Right. Now a force from this point to this point, the body is moving with the initial velocity. Now at this point a force acts on the body. Let's say this is the ball, this is moving from this point to this point with initial velocity. So initially the body is moving with the uniform velocity. Now if the body is acting on the body, so it will produce, either it will be in the opposite direction or in the forward direction. It depends on the condition. So since as force is acting on a body, so there will be a change in velocity of the body. So over here the velocity will become vf. Right. So since there is change in velocity, so there will be acceleration. So it means the force is producing acceleration in the body. Now let the final velocity will be vf. Now if we remember the formula for the momentum, so momentum is equal to mv. Now at this point the momentum will be mv1, and this point, or you can say vi, and at this point the momentum will be mvf. Since over here the momentum is different and over here the momentum is different, so we call pi to be the initial momentum and pf to be the final momentum. And what will be the formula? Pi will be equal to mv1, or you can say mvi, and pf will be equal to mvf. This is initial momentum. Pi will be at this point and pf will be at this point. Right. So these are the momentum of the body at different points. Right. Now what is the change in momentum? If we look at the change, so what will be the change? If we subtract the final momentum from the initial, so this will be the change in momentum occur during this motion. Right. The change in momentum occur during this motion, during covering this distance. And why this changes occur? This changes occur due to the application of force, because we have applied the force. If there were no force, so there will be no change in momentum. Why? Because initial velocity will remain the same as final velocity. So m is constant, m is not changing, so initial velocity and final velocity is same. So if this is 10, so the second one will also be 10. But this is not the case. Since force is acting on a body, so the velocity is changing, and velocity becomes vf after some time, after the application of force. So there is some change in momentum. And what is their change? Change in momentum is equal to final momentum minus initial momentum. Right. And if you put, so change in momentum pf minus pi is equal to mvf minus mvi. Right. Now if we divide this both side by time, let's divide this side and this side with time. So it will comes out to be like this: pf minus pi divided by time, and mvf minus mvi divided by time. Right. If I take m as common, because m is same in both, so m into Vf minus Vi divided by t. And if you remember what is the acceleration? Acceleration is the change in velocity per unit time. So it means I can put acceleration in place of this change in velocity, which is actually this one. So I can put acceleration over here. Since Vf minus Vi divided by t is the rate of change of velocity, and this is equal to the acceleration produced by force, so this m will remain as same, and I will write acceleration, which is a, in place of this, so it will comes out to be ma, right? Now if we look at if we remind the Newton's second law of motion, ma is equal to the force applied, right? So can I write F in place of A? So this ma will become F, right? So it means Pf minus Pi divided by T is equal to F, right? Now the same equation as in the previous. So from this equation we can also define the force. Can also define the force, that when a force act on a body, it will produce acceleration, obvious. But how much will be that force? How much will be that force? That force will be equal to the rate of change of momentum in the body, the rate of change of momentum of the body, because since this is the rate, whenever we are talking about the time, so it will become rate. Why? This is the change, upper part is the change, del p, and delta is used for the change, and divided by time, so it is the rate of change of momentum. This total quantity will be the rate of change of momentum. So the rate of change of momentum is equal to force, right? So whenever there is the change in momentum, it will be cause of force, right? So if you have to calculate that force, that how much is this force, so you have to calculate the rate of change of momentum, that how much momentum is changed and how much time it takes to change the momentum, right? Now we can also define the unit of momentum. Now if you look at this equation, so this is the change, delta p divided by t. So if I multiply this t to this side, so it will be ft, and this will be change in p. So I can write this delta p multiplied by is equal to f multiplied by t. I can also write it like delta p divided by time is equal to f. So by cross multiplication, this is 1, by cross multiplication, this t will be multiplied with f, and this change in p will be multiplied with 1. So change in momentum is equal to force multiplied by time. Now if we look at the units, so force has got the unit of Newton, and time has unit of second. Now 1 Newton is equal to kg meter per square second, and it is actually derived from the second law of motion, which is ma. So m has unit kg and a has unit meter per square second. Since both are in multiplication, so both units will also be in multiplication. So can I write this this kg meter per square second in place of this unit Newton? So it will be Newton kg meter per square second multiplied by second, because this is the unit of Newton, and this second will remain as this one, right? So it will be like this, minus 2 plus 1 over here, this is power plus So whenever bases are same, power will be added. So it will kg meter per square, kg meter second power minus 2 plus 1. So it will be minus 1. So this is the unit of momentum, right? Kg meter per second. It has also this unit. Remember both units, and these are important for the MCQ's point of view, right? That the unit of momentum is Newton second or kg meter per second. Now we want to solve example 3.6, which is based on the formula, which is the force will be equal to the rate of change of momentum. So over here we have a body having mass 5 kg and velocity is 10 meter per second. Now find the force required to stop this body to 2 seconds. Since the velocity is 10, and after the application of force, the velocity will be how much? 0, because the body will stop. So how does it comes to 0? Because of, it will be because of force, and we need to find that force, because automatically the body cannot come to rest. It will be, you have to apply the force on the moving body to come to. So the time is 2 seconds. So we have the given data, mass is 5 kg, velocity is 10 meter per second, final velocity is 0, time is this, and we have to find the force. We have initial momentum and final momentum, the formula for initial and final momentum. So initial momentum is mvi, so it will come out to be 5 multiplied by 10, so it will be 50. Final momentum is 5 multiplied by 0, because final velocity is 0, so it will come out to be 0. Just putting the values in this equation, because this is the equation to find the force. So Pf is 50 and Pi is 0, divided by 2, so it will come out to be 25. So these are all about the lecture, and these are some homework. You have to do it and submit it. Write the question number this and MCQs of unit 3 related to this lecture. So that's all. Thank you.